So, my name is Jason Atwood with Ole Penn Real Estate, and today we want to dive into one of the biggest questions that buyers have when they first think of the idea of buying a house, and that is, how much is it going to cost me? And we're talking about the cash side of things today. And one of the big ones is down payment, which that's really as much as you want to put down. There are so many options out there for down payment assistance to keep your down payment low or completely unlimited. So we're not going to discuss the down payment side. Just know that if you're putting 20% down, that's 20% off of your purchase price that you're going to finance 20% less. If you're doing zero down, you're financing 100% of the purchase price. What we want to talk about today is the cash on hand that's required to purchase a home. So even if you have a zero down loan, here's the cash you need in hand to make this happen. And the first one that pops up is earnest money. And discussing what earnest money is a whole separate conversation, but in brief, that's honest money. That's the money that you're putting down in the contract to make sure the seller is aware that you plan to put good faith into your efforts to make the purchase. And so it's essentially a deposit. And in Washington State, you're going to see that a lot of times they expect 1% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a $200,000 house, you'd be expected to put $2,000 down. In Grace Harbor, a lot of times you can get put $1,000 down. The seller's fine with that. It just depends on the situation, the seller, the purchase price, all that sort of stuff comes into play. And so talk to your realtor, discuss what is best in the situation based on how long the house has been on the market and where you live, how appealing this property is to the public, because all that stuff does play into it. So $1,000, check. Okay. The second thing that will pop up is a home inspection. Now, this is a buyer's responsibility, and there are a lot of times where a buyer asks me, do I have to have a home inspection? No, you don't. Should you? Absolutely. So when it comes to home inspection, that is the best $400 to $500 you're going to spend to verify that the asset you're about to purchase is in good shape. And don't be afraid of the inspection results. Every house has their defects. There's no such thing as a perfect house. So, but going back to the cost of that, you're looking at typically $400 to $450. But let's call it $500 just for easy budgeting and easy numbers. So right now, $1,000 for earnest money, $500 for the home inspection. The next one that pops up is the appraisal. And the appraisal pops up right after the home inspection in most cases, unless you decide to order that earlier in the game. Now, the appraisal is typically around $700 or $800. In some cases, it could be less, and in some cases, it could be more. It used to be around $600 or $700 just a few years ago, but as we saw an increase in the market activity, we saw supply and demand. The demand was for appraisals, and so the cost of appraisals followed that. And in some cases, if you need to have a rushed appraisal, you could be looking at $1,100 or $1,200. But in most cases, you're looking at $800, and we'll call that figure $800 just for keeping it simple. So, earnest money, $1,000, home inspection, $500, and appraisal, $800. So you're at $2,300 in cash. And the other big one is closing costs. And closing costs typically round out to be around 3% of the purchase price. And the big features of the closing costs are the lender fees. And the lender fees are probably the biggest piece of that, where you're looking at a couple $1,000s in origination fees and other doc prep fees like loan application, credit report, and that sort of stuff. So the other pieces are your prepaids, like your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes. So those will vary as well depending on what quotes you get, which I definitely recommend you talk to at least 2, maybe 3 insurance providers just to make sure you get the lowest price with the best service. And then your property taxes, that'll vary, as you know, based on the property that you are in search of. So looking at that, let's say you're in a $200,000 situation. We'll call it 3% of the purchase price, so that's $6,000. So you're looking at $6,000 plus the $2,300, so $8,300. Just to keep it safe, let's call it $8,500. Now, you can limit that by negotiating in your closing costs to be covered by the seller, but you have to understand that the seller is not going to just say, absolutely, we'll give you $6,000. They're going to take that as a negotiation chip. So instead of a reduction in price for whatever circumstance, you may be looking at paying over asking to finance in your closing costs. So that's pretty much it. But the cash on hand, the earnest money, the inspection, and the appraisal are the three must-haves for cash on hand. Everything else would come at the end of the transaction, so closing costs and down payment. Again, if you're planning to finance that part in, then you're in good shape. So thank you for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to drop those below, because chances are there's somebody else wondering the same thing, and we don't want to miss that. And I will answer every question that pops up in there. I would also ask that you subscribe below. And I appreciate you taking the time, and please look forward to more information like this for buyers and sellers alike, as well as for Grace Harborites. And one thing with the Grace Harborites is our plan is to have more videos that focus on the great things in Grace Harbor. So festivals, restaurants, parks, all the things that we love that we'll choose to assemble. And so those will be the ones with the orange banner. And there's a couple in there currently, but we plan to boost that up and get more because we love Grace Harbor. So thanks so much again. Hope you have an awesome day.